guys, Coach Gaglione here. I want to go over a new piece of equipment we have at Gaglione Strength, and for maybe people watching this, if you're not a member, you still can kind of learn something from it. So first couple of things I just want to kind of go over, like how to use this particular model, and then also kind of why it's set up the way it is. So there's some different things, and I think it's really important when we're using more machines that we kind of just understand the architecture of the machine and some potential downfalls without getting too technical with it. But one of the things that can be problematic with any type of machine is that you're kind of locked into a certain position. So this is actually a hack squat and a leg press combination. So I want to kind of just go over how to use it and also some of the downfalls. So one of the things that you might see people get some knee pain during a leg press, and definitely knee pain during like a hack squat, because it's going to be like a lot of shear forces kind of going through the front of the knee. So one of the things that we can do to counteract some of those forces that are in the kind of that bottom range of motion, both for the squat and in the leg press, is we could use some band loading. So we have some Godzilla bands here from Spud Inc. So these are pretty heavy duty bands. I kind of rigged up a way to kind of do this. So depending on the machine that you're using, it may be more cumbersome or easier to set up the bands, but this is particularly how I chose to set up the bands. I kind of tested it myself, and I found this was pretty relatively low risk and high reward. So the bands are going to stretch more as we go into a deeper range of a longer range of motion. So you're going to get more tension at the top where you're mechanically the strongest, and your knees are in a better position. So that's why we're using the bands. And it's a kind of a good starting point. Obviously, you can continue to add weight. So I want to kind of demo some different ways you could do this. And one of the things that's really important when utilizing machines is kind of go to a range of motion that feels well for your body. So get to see kind of some of the quad activation and stuff. And I also kind of want to go over just some of the mechanisms for this particular piece, but a lot of leg presses and hack squats can be similar. So you can kind of play with different foot positions. I like to kind of, again, start off with a more kind of vertical shin angle and just kind of go through again. So my back's not going to be able to move, so really my knee joint is going to be the primary joint that's moving. So there is going to be some forces that kind of are going through my knee at the bottom. So you may not necessarily want to go quote unquote full range of motion on this. Maybe some shorter range might be more comfortable and advisable for you. So so right here I have a lot of tension at the top here. So what I'm going to do is I can move these handles in, and then if I want to lock it, move them back out. So that's going to be a safety feature again, so I can move, and it's kind of hard to see, so you have to get a feel for it. So get a feel for where the handles are, and just kind of practice that, just so you can kind of practice getting in and out, because when you're tired, that could be a consideration. So just practice kind of getting in and out of the machine. So right now I'm kind of ready to go. I'm going to brace my stomach, and I might just want to do some short pulses here, just to kind of, and you can see I'm getting a lot of quad activation, even with these little pulses, even though I'm not going quote unquote full range of motion. So I'm getting a lot of quad movement again, because I'm getting a lot of tension at the top. Now if I want to experiment with going deeper, what's nice about this is I virtually have no tension in the bottom, so even if my knee's in a vulnerable position, so I'm getting the benefit of going through a longer range of motion with the bands, but there's no pressure on my knees in the bottom. And if I do get kind of stuck, I can just put these here, or I can even put them lower, depending on if you get stuck or not. That's a good option there. So you can kind of experiment with the foot placement. So here, I feel more stress in my knees when I bring my feet lower, so I probably would not go as deep a range of motion. I could also kind of experiment with doing some partial calf raises here, which is also a nice option. I don't really get the benefit of the stretch. Now in the case of using this as a leg press, I can utilize this. I could also change this angle here, which I didn't for the squat, but you could play with the angle as well. And I can put this down if I want to use it as a leg press, or I can leave it there. So I can kind of play with the angle depending on how flexible you are. Since I have the kind of the bar in place here, there may not be as much play with it. So I'm just gonna kind of leave it there because I just like, so depending on if you want less hip flexion, you can make it a little bit taller or shorter, depending on what you want to do. So that's consideration there. I'm going to move this up. Again, I can play with the angle here, depending on what you're looking for. I'm going to put this all the way up for demonstration purposes. Now, this is designed to push through this foot plate here, but I'm also going to utilize just this part of the machine as well, just to kind of show you guys how you can kind of also modify. And again, this pad is just more for comfort. It's not necessarily needed. You can certainly just kind of keep it up the whole time. But just for demonstration purposes, I'll keep the pad there. The other consideration is the depth. So obviously this is going to change the distance that you are from the machine. So these are some things that you can play with potentially. So again, with the leg press, I personally like a little bit of a higher foot position. It's more comfortable for me. It's a little bit more balanced. If you want to, again, play with a lower foot position, you can do that as well. So here, again, I'm not really getting a lot of range of motion here. And if I go any lower, my feet are kind of coming off the ground, so off the foot plate. So I'm just, short pulses might be kind of all I can really do for my kind of body type in this kind of machine. So I can't really work a huge range of motion here, but this would be a good place for someone to start. And again, I don't have any kind of knee issues with that. So one thing I could do, I can come here, starting from a deeper position. And this is going to be a lot of more tension. I'm still learning to use the machine myself, so kind of coming here, trying to do my best to keep my knees out. I'm getting a little bit more range, and it's a lot more tension since I'm starting putting my feet here versus on the top foot plate. You can kind of see that quad activation. And if I want to, I can also use this as a very nice calf device, and I can get a nice stretch by using this bottom piece here. So getting a full stretch in my calf, and then kind of coming back. So again, I want to show you guys, again, so I kind of limiting, I could also play with that, and that's going to make me a little bit further away from, so this is going to allow me to get a little bit better of a start position from if I'm kind of using it, you know, kind of incorrectly. And I kind of like this range of motion. The one thing that's not great about this option is I'm limited in how wide my feet can be. But even with no weight, I'm getting a really nice quad workout here, and then I can kind of finish up with some calf raises on this machine. Whew. So that's kind of a leg press hack squat combination machine. That's how you can use it. And again, that's also why we're using the bands, because it's going to make you utilize your quadriceps when you're mechanically stronger and take pressure off the knees when you're in the bottom position. So that's how we're going to utilize the leg press and hack squat in our training. So if you guys enjoyed the video, like it, subscribe, check out the links below. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, stay strong, and we'll see you soon.